not really looking to be impressed. They're just there to have a good time and enjoy, what they're given.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's kind of one of the things about Tea in the Park goes down so well with all the artists, that they really want to play it as well.
I think it's true with any sort of gigs up here, really. And like you say, in Ireland's the same sort of thing, I think, as well. And I always get the impression that people pay the money to they're going to have a good time.
Yeah. What about in terms of you look down the bill and there's over 170 acts over the 2 days. It's an incredible amount of bands. I know you're a big fan of bands like Har-Fi. You were on stage with Brixton. Is there anyone else on the bill that you're like, I really like what they're doing?
I like the Zootons, I think they're great. The Kooks, Golf Frap, I think is great. Arctic Monkeys playing tomorrow, they're top as well.
Yeah. Zootons today were just phenomenal. I think they pretty much warmed the crowd up for you earlier.
I mean, so many great acts, and there's almost too much to see, isn't there? It's impossible to see all of it,
And do you ever think about the fact of how many of those bands that are on that bill that you've inspired, that are probably here because partly down, listen to you?
Well, it's not for me to say, is it?
Yeah, I know, but
come on.
Could you imagine it if we took you now, right, where Cameron walked into the Ordinary Boys dressing room, they'd just fall down dead. Do you know what I mean?
I've met the Ordinary Boys before.
Oh, they're just like... on a festival set, do you feel a bit more pressure to play the bigger tracks, or did you go about it the same way as anyone?
No, we pretty much do the same sort of set, really, and it's a mixture of old, new stuff, So we play some old jam songs and stuff off the new album, the last album. So it's just a mixture, really.
You could play for about 4 hours up there, and every track would be a good sing-along, I reckon.
It'd be a long time, yeah.
What's the certain songs at festivals particularly that give you the biggest buzz in terms of getting they're going to get the big crowd reaction?
Well, I mean, obviously all the big tunes, Town Called Malice and Wildwoods, all the things not playing tonight, really.
Yeah.
But,
are you playing Changing Man tonight?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
This is where we just find out what we want to hear.
Right, should we write a list?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it give too much away, but I mean, obviously all the big tunes always go down well, don't they? So.
And are you still writing all the time at the moment? Because Paul Weller never goes away. There's always an album is going to come up. Are you still writing all the time? Like, or sort of, does it slow down, or do you go through phases of writing records?
I don't know if I'm writing all the time, but I'm always kind of thinking about writing. But most of the time it comes and finds me, really, to be honest. And if I feel inspired to write, then I'll do it wherever I may be,
We were talking about this earlier, that there's never been a great track written where somebody sat down in a studio to write a track. Anytime you meet anyone and like the great tracks that you've written, and probably most of them have been written just walking down the street, you've had an idea, or it's been on a bus.
It's a totally spontaneous process, really, So it's kind of, you never say when you're going to write. I mean, it just happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't do it on demand, can you?
No.
I'd just like to say before you go, as a postscript to the interview, I found a shop in Carnaby Street in London. They say you shop in there. I can look so sharp on a Saturday night now. I found your shop. You should see me.
I haven't been down Carnaby Street for 20 years or so.
Oh, he lied to me. The guy lied to me.
They all say that down there.
Paul, thank you very much for taking the time to come in. It's lovely to speak to you. Right now, we're going to go back to a band who were on the main stage a little bit earlier on, and Brian popped in earlier. Sorry, Audrey Hepburn popped in earlier to speak to us.
Who's he going to look like?
Placebo. Oh yeah.
Who do you look like, Paul?
What?
Here's Placebo.
I don't know, mate.
Brian Hepburn.